Hi everyone, and welcome to this SWE Europe Inspiration Session. My name is Irene Costeledo, and I'll be your host and moderator today. A bit about myself. I am a global project execution manager in ABB Mobility. I am originally from Greece and I have 2 masters in engineering, one in mechanical engineering from the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, and one in energy and products from the French Institute of Petroleum in Paris. I moved to the Netherlands in 2018 to work for the electric mobility market. Since then, I have worked as a product engineer, product and project manager, and I have been growing together with this fascinating business. I'm also a core member of the employee resource group in ABB Netherlands, and I have a personal interest in the diversity topic. It is my great belief that, like society, workplaces should be balanced. And until we achieve that, we have to advocate for the benefits of such an equilibrium. Now, when promoting the value of diversity, we know how important role models and examples are. So today, I am delighted to welcome our case study presenter, Sangeeta Gorania, materials leader at Honeywell Aerospace. Sangeeta will share how a diverse team worked to improve the inspection processes of an aircraft parts repair and overhaul facility. To learn more about our backgrounds, we can refer to the link in the chat. As we go through the conversation, feel free to share your questions for Sangeeta, as well as comments, experiences, and ideas in the chat. After the presentation, we will have a live Q&A to address your questions and remarks, and then we will move to breakout rooms, so you can exchange ideas with one another. So for now, I'll hand over to Sangeeta. Sangeeta, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. My name is Sangeeta Gorania. I'm based in United Kingdom. I work as Irene said, at Aircraft Wheels and Brakes Repair and Overhaul Facility as a maintenance, materials and logistics manager. I'm really excited to speak to you. Just as a summary, I have been with the Society of Women Engineers, connected since last 7 years. I have been speaking in the past. This is actually my 6th conversation or collaboration on a speaking platform. I have spoken before on a SWE platform as a speaker on various subjects. So I'm really delighted to speak to you today and hear more about you as well. Thank you. So the case study today is mainly to celebrate the diversity and to cover a subject, how innovations can influence through the diverse team collaboration. So this is my personal experience. So before I started this position, I also worked as 5 years as an engineering leader for the same site. I have also worked as a project engineer for 3 years. So this is my combined experience that I'm sharing here with you. Doreen, we can go to the second slide. Thank you. Thank you. So the case study subject is to implement process time reduction through innovations within various manual inspection processes of aircraft wheels and brakes repair and overhaul facility to accommodate customer demand ramp up before the peak season. So what happens is we have as you can the simple logical understanding is as the aircraft fly more, we are more busier because we service their aircraft wheels and brakes. So we are maintenance facility, we disassemble units, we inspect units, we assemble, we clean, we do all the detailed checks on these units before they are, declared as a fit and fitted on the aircraft. So we do a lot of inspection processes. Now, inspection processes are very important. At the same time, they are very lengthy and time taken as well. So in the next slide, you will see further what are the challenges that we had it and how we came up with the team of expertise to come up with the easier inspection process, how can we, combine this shorter time, how can we reduce cycle time. That was the main objective or goal of this case study, basically, or this project. So we had a team. We had a team of the very, very different, diverse expertise people, different educational background, different ethnic background, and we had some challenges that we came up. We had upfront. So first one was like change management. We had our workforce is about 70% who has 30 plus years of experience doing the same repetitive task. So that is the first challenge. We have always done this way, and this is the best way, and we know the best. So it's a people management through the change management. That was my first challenge. Second one is the project team experience. So I had a team of people, you will see in the next slide. So they had like mid to no experience. We made sure that we collaborate this project through the different type of fresh eyes, different type of experienced eyes, and cover the subject. We also had a very first challenge, which is time frame implementation. So we wanted to make sure that this particular project gets implemented before the busy summer season hit us very, very badly. So, not just implement it, but also make sure that the particular project is bringing the productivity and cost savings. We had, as I said, we had a different team. We had some Generation Z team members as well. Some of the team members who are very, very just out of the university. So they are quite used to technology. So, they knew a lot about technology, while the guys with the 30 years of experience, they were not much used to technology. Their technology usages are limited to the component maintenance manual access, which is just the PC access to access the SharePoints, right? So this was my fourth challenge here. And it's a productivity project. And if you guys are used to the project subject, your project is not successful if you don't have an improvement. At the same time, I also had the financial obligation to this project. So I could not make the project spend higher than its savings. If I convert into minutes, labor cost savings, making sure that, it's a productive. So these are the upfront challenges that had been faced within the team. Hi, Doreen, thank you. Next slide, please. Thank you. So diversity collaboration. So team selection had 15 members, 9 direct users. So these are mainly people who are the high experienced people, right? They are direct, means they work directly onto the product. They inspect, they would know what is a trend. They would know what happened on a specific incident or specific, mandatory occurrence reporting. They would know all the details. This kind of experienced people, we had it. We would even send them to other facilities to train other people, and they're quite highly experienced people. We had 6 members of these who had greater than 25 years experience. 3 members are just started, who are still going through their OJTs, on-job training, and they are going through that training, but they still don't hold their own stamps. Apart from that, we had 3 project support members who are engineering, project management. So they had their own methodology to work, how to do the job, how to do the thought process map, how to do the define stage, measuring stage, analytical stage. So it's a different combination of team that we had together on our brainstorming session, right? These are not just different experiences, but they also had the different ethnic background. We had people who had a British background. Some were from India. They were working here. Some were from Sri Lanka. They were working here. Some had a European background, African background. So it's like a beautiful combination, not just through their ethnic backgrounds, but also through their expertise, knowledge, and then they bring a bunch of their specific upbringings in the combination where they collaborate. So it was great selection to start with. So this is our brainstorming stage ideas. So there were like three steps or three group that was first separated into, and we finalized as a three last or three ideas that we can further explore into. First one was split process stages driven by experiences. So if there is an inspection process, specific inspection, for example, you have to measure a simple example I'll give you. For example, you have to measure a width of a specific slot in a 5 different stages. So guys have further combined certain stages and said, you know what, if some person does not have to walk from A to B, he will be saving 2 minutes. Let's do one thing. Let's put all the gauges at one place, making sure 5S is maintained, specific order is maintained, and let's cut down the stages and we combine into a specific stages. So this is how we will save such and such amount of time, and that will give us such and such amount of turnaround time and output increase. That was the first concept, which was a very good concept. But it was, again, we are doing the same thing, but in a different stages. We are not actually reducing a target goal, or a significant reduction that we would like to. Second group, which is mainly the apprentices and Gen Z, or Gen XYZ, they came up with a lot of robotics ideas, a lot of technological ideas, and they will say, you know what, let's do the robotic inspection. So you will have a specific gauge. This particular slot or a specific rod will go through a specific bridge. Camera will take the picture and give you red or green signal, and so on. You will have a robotics arm coming and doing this process. Now, challenge for this one was, we have a very detailed inspection process. We have a very, very different platforms, different aircraft types, different aircraft products. It is how many we can duplicate it. But if we are perhaps saving the same amount of time as subject 1 and subject 2, that is bullet point 1 and bullet point 2, it is not cost viable, and it will not meet the objective of the timeline. So we were very impressed with the second concept, but we did not go ahead with that because it would take longer implementation time, highest cost, and perhaps the outcome will not be the different. Plus, you will end up training the team for the same subject. The third one is elaborated detailed project management steps. So this is my project management team, which wanted to do a lot of analytics before coming to an outcome. So these were the diversity collaboration. But I'll tell you what, in the next slide, you will see the great combination of all three. And there we are. So finally, after a lot of brainstorming session, we have here a solution agreed, which is called go, no-go gauges. These go, no-go gauges, and I'll tell you how they were combining all people's expertise here, somehow in the 3 groups that I just discussed. This does not need the vernier calipers detail inspection. These are designed using the project management guys' skills, because they had also background of engineering, so they could design it. These are simply, if I just give you a concept of this plus sign gauge that you see, there are what it is that if you take that particular object and if you put into a slot, you will see if the slot is shrunk. So if there is a play around, if it does not fit, you know that it is a shrunk area. So you know that it's out of the minimum limit, because it's even shrunk more. So you know that it's not fit for the function on the actual aircraft. If you see the gauge is a lot of worn and a lot of play around and it's not a tight fit, it still fail. So maximum limit can be obtained by just checking the go, no-go gauge. Simple is it is going or it's not going. And also this combined a 3D printing technology. which is my new guys. They were happy as well. We printed actually this in-house. We designed it, we printed in-house, and solution was cycle time reduction. For even the implementation got cut down in a shorter time. We even reduced our training time that we thought we would have done it in a something new completely gauge. This was quite simple solution. We went through this, went through the trial, and we have also got the calibration approvals, and we were very happy through this implementation. Time free viable, productive solution, and faster training trial implementation. This has given us 50% time reduction, and this is the award-winning solution. And this particular solution group had won Kaizen of the month for the region that time. Not only that, so many other repair and overhaul facilities also took this idea to implement their processes. So we are not going away from the numeric methodology, but at the same time, where we could, we came up with this solution, and we celebrated. This is how we celebrated our team's diversity to come up with the diverse, wonderful ideas. And yeah, that's all from me here. Thank you. And if you have any questions, please, follow up, and we'll talk about it more.
Thank you very much, Sangeeta, and congrats on the win as well. It was it's so great to hear such a concrete example of the benefits a diverse team brings to complex problems. So thank you very much for that. And to the attendees, feel free to post your questions in the chat so we can get the live Q&A started. So until we have some questions, I have a question to you, Sangeeta.
Sure.
You just presented to us that study after study has concluded that diversity translates into better performance, making a strong case for diversity in the workplace. The data is there, and despite the clear economic benefits, reform is easier said than done. What do you think is holding companies back from driving change?
So the very first one, what I see is any change management perspective. You have unions, you have a specific way of working, you have, this working time directives and so on. So you have to not just comply with the compliances certain times when you want to implement certain change, certain time also that you have to oblige to the team culture and team environment. I'll give you one example. We wanted to hire a talent which was out of the geographical area. The first restriction we had through the search, that was, the visa requirement. So diversity we celebrate, but there's sometimes skill shortages. Sometimes, as I give example, the visa requirement. Certain companies have different policies. If I want to have a specific mix in my group, perhaps certain tasks cannot be performed because of the skill shortages as well. So there are limiting factors that you have to go ahead as you come across. If you're a very fast business, very speedy business, then you would also go through an adjustment time that you will have to train people. So business is all about revenue. Business also focus on the revenues. So so if I were to summarize on three aspects, the global visa limitations could be one of them. Skills could be second one. And third one is, you want to make sure that you get the faster outcome. So you want the revenue. Revenue is the third one. That time to time, companies on a different aspects that could limit, this expansion of diverse elements into the businesses.
Yeah, and I agree. And I do think that different companies have this list of, let's say, friendly countries where you see that diversity is limited to countries that are more friendly, let's say, to the specific company. And that is something that I think we would have to revise more. And through employee resource group, or through the power that we as employees have, we have to, not only it's our benefit, but it's our responsibility as well. That's what I truly believe. But to continue in that, we know that now more and more corporates are investing a lot of money in diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging at work. These are very, very important concepts. And it's becoming more and more important in our days, especially after the great resignation, if it's over, let's say, when people resign to seek work environments that are better tailored to their needs. And as you said, we still feel the resistance. I won't focus on the leaders. They might be defensive, as you said, in the idea shift, in the conversation, in the social dynamics. And then you have other leaders that just lack the commitment or the tools to implement that change. How would you approach those leaders?
So it's a human factors and human management. Certain people are more approachable than others, but there are basic or core principles that each organization has it, and leader should cooperate to that, to at least meet the standards. So of course there are the basic requirements. Certain leaders may not go beyond a specific specific area. So we are all people. Not every leader is a people leader. Some leaders are a business goal oriented, they just want result. Some leaders are bit of both, and some leaders are extreme end of that, they want to just focus on the peoples and their improvement. It's a reality of the workplaces these days, as I read and as I heard of it. So at least we should meet a basic requirement or standard that companies have it, and companies policies should cover it. If I'm a people leader, if I'm giving a certain degree of high support going beyond to my team member, not necessarily the other leader in the same position would do that. Perhaps that person would maintain both result and that support. So it's not just one aspect, but there are many aspects. But I'll tell you one example of mine. I'm a new mother. Thank you. So when I came back from maternity, I work in a workplace where 85 to 90% is the male environment, because we are aircraft wheels and brakes mechanical facility. In fact, in my education as well, I was the couple of girls in class of 23, 24 male that time. So when I came back from my maternity, the work culture, the corporate policies here had a specific room called mother's room. Mm-hmm. And that mother's room is for allowing the new mother to express, to have the express facility. And I'll tell you what, Irini, when I came back, I thought, oh no, I'll be working again in the mechanical environment, seeing the greases, all the processes. Oh no, I'm leaving my baby. But when I came in that room, it's like the way it is decorated is like, so welcoming. So tailoring the need of individual is something the leaders could do.
Mm-hmm. Talent management, small stuff.
Yeah, small steps help. Yeah, I mean, I never expected that when I come back to work, there will be a mother's room for me. So I was super duper happy. So it's a great resignation, because people want the certain way of work. They want expectation of that is that workplace should also consider their needs. But in my case, if I say it was not even great resignation period, but it was considered, Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit of both.
That's important. And I think policies beginning from companies can push all the way up from policies to the government, and even the other way around would work as well. Governmental policies implied in different companies in order to protect people that are more vulnerable or in another, let's say, in a minority group or so. I do have a question from the chat. So a question from Julia saying, which were major difficulties in managing a diverse team, and how did you face them?
So the first I had was idea generation in the team, which was the way of working. Individual had the way of working to change management. So some had 30 years of experiences, some were very new. So when you are very much confident in your processes, you have that, concept of, if it is not broken, why you fix it? I have always done that way. Just take my word and do it,
Yeah.
While others were like, why don't we try a new way? Let's try, let's do it, full of excitement and whatnot. So that I had one experience here and one experience here. So I had that
resistance and
yeah. But then as the leader supports the individuals, this group becomes shorter and shorter. It's like, what, that's a great idea. We should try it. Let's do it, with differently. That kind of concept really helped. So leadership support helps, even when the collaboration, facilitation, So yeah.
Yeah. And that also links really good back to what you said previously, on the fact that there are managers that are more business oriented. That's their goal. But you just proven with your case study that diversity translates to better revenues. So
Yeah.
we just have to raise awareness in that matter. So I have another question from Anima. So managing a diverse team myself, including members from different age group, experiences, ethnicities, and based in different regions, I would like to ask, how do you manage the differences between team members which arise because of different beliefs?
I had certain situations as well where, there was a specific belief system from individuals and, oh no, I always done this way, or we don't do that way. I have no problem. And then my always solution to that is, what, guys, we are one Honeywell. We are one team. Regardless what we are, what chemistry it is, we are incomplete without each other. This particular task, and I give example as well, this particular task cannot be done if it is not your input. It cannot be done without his input. So that kind of collaboration brings a positivity culture. And as a manager, it's not, the time has changed where you cannot be always neutral. You will have to put your foot and say, what, this is right and this is wrong. So different ways of collaboration, different way of influencing, but the one goal I always remind my team is one Honeywell. My team, your team, no, we are one Honeywell. We have to support. That's what we do. And trust me, that has changed a lot in my project activity groups.
I can imagine, and diversity goes hand in hand with must go hand in hand with inclusion, actually. And that's, I think, a great manager can do is also convince the introverts of a project group to speak their voice, and the extroverts to take the time and listen. So, because everyone has an idea they would like to pitch in, and in one company, this could one complement the other and benefit as that.
And trust me, I mean, as the time goes, when you are used to each other, when you know each other's way of communication, and when you have one goal in mind, the differences become really gray. They disappear. If the background is differences, if it's the religion differences, it starts becoming gray. As the acceptance, as the inclusion, right word is, as the inclusion comes, it is not even there at once you realize it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you're like, yeah.
And that's a great inclusive environment if that happens.
Yeah.
Another question from Amy: what type of experiences can engineering educator provide for their students to help prepare them to work in diverse groups and leverage the benefits of diversity? That's a great question. I would love to hear the answer to that, actually.
Right. So, being studied in engineering in UK, we had that opportunity where we did not go and choose a specific group. We were given a specific group, making sure the right mixture of background, right mixture of students, that we work together. So time to time, there are certain project concept or assignment that you choose your group partner and you work. I think what educators should do is they should actually have a group assignment given to a specific group. Not necessarily everybody is, high-ranking student, but making sure you have a right mixture where you get that opportunity to learn from each other as well. Also, giving a real-life examples and taking students on I see this happening in schools, but I'm not sure if it is colleges and universities are doing that. They should have more collaboration with the right workplaces. Because when hiring process occurs, we reach out to university saying, what, we want someone with no experience, we can train, we can do that. But I don't see much universities these days or educators reaching out to collaborate with the specific sites nearby them or specific organization. I'm sure the HR services will be more than excited to take this talented step ahead, because it's like you are combining a new step into your organization. So it's both of both, just not assignment, but also should reach out and make sure that you take them to tour, collaborate with them, give an assignment where OJT happens. And I'm sure different countries have different rules, but I think we should do that more often. I haven't seen it in 9 years. A specific group came and worked here, or approached from education system saying, hey, can we send you one group of students, then you can keep them for a month or week and we will take it from there. No.
That's a nice idea. What I also liked, a professor of mine did that back in the university. We were in specific groups for some projects, so it was just not one-off. And all of us had to present at a point. So it's not always the person that feels more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But everyone had to be pushed a bit outside of the comfort zone. So you were able to see where one was lacking or what they did wrong, what you liked with what they did, copy that or take that in, or the other way around as well. So you could, that could help, I think. Yeah. Another question for me. So employee burnout is one of the biggest issues we are now facing in the current workforce. Inclusive work culture is one of the strongest foundations for reducing burnouts and authentically increasing the capacity to navigate daily challenges. So how do you, Sangeeta, practice resilience and inclusion in your everyday work life?
Communication. Communication is the key. Burnout is, again, a subjective. My burnout and someone else's burnout could have a different scales. Each individual has to self-realize and communicate frequently before you reach at that stage. And resilience comes from within. So if you think that something is burning you out or crossing your work-life balance, you should raise a hand, not necessarily always in a specific manner, but also collaborative manner, and say, you know what, guys, we can do that. This is different. This is this much. This is a priority order, and this is how we can do. And that gives a long results rather than one-off result to come up with a specific pressure of the time. So communication.
And how do you think that has affected? How do you think the post-COVID period and the COVID period has affected communication? Because now almost everyone could be working from home. We have that flexibility, and it's great to have that. But that has changed the way of things.
It has, to be honest. But even in such a corporate environment that I work in, not necessarily even before COVID, I have seen certain people face to face. I have worked with the US team. I worked with the European team. I worked with someone other side of the country. So communication, regardless where you do, of course, there is a limitation that certain body language could not be seen and other specific aspect, which we are now seeing on face-to-face on the video. So I believe there's a positive side as well, that communication has further improved, that we have taken that as yes, this is the new communication method. So people are hearing out further, because my experience sharing, not everybody I work with is here. I collaborate with everybody who is outside as well. So in my most of the work, so there's a positive side as well.
Working with everyone in the world, But how do you, as a project manager, then cultivate communication? Because I truly believe it's something that needs cultivation. It needs to be trained and to get better every day at it.
Every day, yes. Every day being better is the key. So I'll give you my example, during specific project when we have multiple people, multiple stakeholder, I call them, based on a different destinations, we have a specific SharePoints. Before the specific meeting, if I need the line of balance, I have a team updating that one. So when it comes on a specific team call, we do not consume each other's time for not so productive matter. Data is there. So we then discuss the next data, what the communication is, how we are going to improve it. Then we have other stakeholders who are not very, very desperate to hear at the same time, but it's impacting them. We send the meeting minutes out. So many best practices that we can opt for it to have the communication, not just verbal, but on a different aspect. And to be honest, these days, there are also the communication on the groups and whatnot. So we have, WhatsApp group specific things, and we re-emphasize there is not a subject I consider called over communication. Communications are always, value added in certain aspects.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. And how do people reach out to you and your team that is not work related?
Yeah, feel free to talk to me about face to face. My team is here. I'm sorry about this. My team is here face to face, so they can talk to me. And you saw this an example. I get called on Teams as well.
Okay.
That's another team example that I have. Yeah, feel free to call me on Teams. I share my mobile phone number. Call me anytime. It's my personal perspective where I feel comfortable to have information in time, then wait for me to be available.
That's great. Thank you very much for sharing that. So thank you again, Sangeeta, and thanks everyone for your questions.